let's talk about the good... Try that again. Let's talk about The Good Doctor. I have reviewed episodes 1 to 9 before, and they were in another video linked above here, so if you haven't watched that, not necessary for this review, because I'm kind of going to talk about it as a whole, but we're kind of a focus on the second half. The other thing I said in that review was that I would talk more about all the other characters and stuff, but I actually just want to focus on Sean and his autism and that side of things, because otherwise the review will be really long. I'm a lot more hyper today than yesterday. Yesterday was not good, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, like anything could happen. I might even dab, who knows? No, definitely won't. Anyone who's been avoiding The Good Doctor because of the medical side of things, don't worry. Like, I struggled. I don't like gory stuff, and I saw these images, and to be honest, if you'd seen any in my face, they would have made some incredible memes. Maybe next time I should film myself watching it. Series 2. Anyway, so to talk about the series as a whole, it's not learning about autism, it's just learning about Sean, who just so happens to be autistic. And what they very cleverly do is they place in the situations that as adults on the autistic spectrum encounter. And each episode had a different focus, and you could see how Sean reacted to that and how he reacted differently to everyone else. So let's just run over each episode because I made some notes. The first episode I'm going to talk about is the 10th episode, and in that episode at the end is the first time when we see Sean having a proper meltdown. I can't remember there being any in episodes 1 to 9, could be mistaken, but I can't remember. I liked how that meltdown was portrayed because it wasn't like a full-blown thing, which often the media can do with a meltdown, just to go, oh look, this is it in its worst state, and this happens every time. Not all the time they are everything. Sometimes they are a bit more minor. Still annoying to have. Then we entered into a 2-part episode. Sean going on that road trip made me feel anxious, and in that road trip he encountered quite a few situations which are quite interesting ones for those on the autistic spectrum. The fact he was going on a road trip where they didn't know where they were going, that was enough for me. I would have been like, no. We see Sean driving and the complications of how he can't actually process everything going on when he shouts, "No radio!" I'm like that sometimes. We see Sean drinking, and you've seen what I'm like drinking before. Yeah, that was an interesting video. It's demonetised. I wonder why. We even see the date part of it. And what I liked is it didn't touch too heavily on it. Obviously with autism in the media, there are certain shows that use autism to be a comedy device for dating, and they obsess over the idea of dating, but this was just a little subtle thing, and then it was done, it was over. In the next half of that 2-parter, we see Sean wanting to move away for independence, to follow Leah. He did show a sign that a lot of us do in the adult stage. It's the whole, I'm ready for independence now, I want to be independent. It's not always possible. The next episode we see the theme of lying and how confusing that can be. We see more about objective thinking and lying, and Sean with his 7 reasons of lying. And then the introduction of Kenny, and I don't like Kenny. Kenny makes me feel anxious. If someone was to go into my room and touch my stuff and move my stuff, and we're going to ignore Kenny for the rest of the review because I've just got several notes going. I want to smack Kenny, I want to punch Kenny. One of the subjects they had in the show which I found particularly interesting was the transgender one, and the whole how Sean found it difficult to get his head around. I did initially at first. I found the whole transgender thing, like meeting transgender people and non-binary, and I found it all very confusing because I like labels, I like to be able to categorise, but then there's a new generation where that's not the case. I might try and do a whole video on that at some point. Let me know if you want to see that. My notes for episode 15 are rather strange. I kept getting distracted at the beginning by, there was a bowl, and there was a certain banana sticking up in a certain position, and I don't know if you watch programmes and certain things stick out for you at times, but I couldn't take my eyes off this banana. Well, there were 2, but it was the one on the left. It was really, yeah. Let's just move on from that. This was the episode of the fundraiser, and you saw what it was like for the social event and how scary that looks and all the preparation that goes into it. In the 16th episode we have the guy in the wheelchair, and he addresses the issue of, would you want to cure your autism? I feel all this video is going to be is, go and watch that video. Look, go and watch the video, I've talked about cures. 17th one, we have the girl without the facial expressions, and that's a really interesting one to come up because of course emoting and showing your emotion and understanding your emotion is such a thing on the autistic spectrum. And what I did particularly love in that episode was the smile experiment, where Sean was walking around going up to people going, it wasn't a particularly nice smile, was it? It was almost the kind of smile that was in my 1080 article the other day. That was a good plug, and that was very smooth, wasn't it? If you haven't read that, it'll be in the description below. I was in a YouTube magazine. That plug was actually kind of shameless, wasn't it? And of course we have a big cliffhanger at the end of that one. Aaron, we knew there were problems. And in the 18th episode we see Sean coming to terms with death. It's the change, it's the whole, oh, but that person's not going to be in my life, that's a change in my routine, that's going to freak me out. What can I do to stop that happening? Sean puts all of his energy into finding the answer. And we get a really cute moment when Sean gives Dr. Glassman a hug. I'm funny with hugs, I've said that. I'm getting better, I think. And it was a really nice end to the series. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Sean and his position and Dr. Glassman's position. We don't know. and it left it on quite a good cliffhanger for series 2. One of the biggest things I found with this series is a lot of the problems they brought up, which was like Sean experiencing for the first time. Surely he would have come across some of them in med school, like the whole lying thing. Surely he would have encountered situations where people lie to do certain things and he would have questioned it then, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what Sean was like in university. As I said in the other review, I just feel they get it right. This is a series I'm happy with. I'd say he is quite stereotypically autistic, but I don't look at him and see autistic. I look at him and see Sean, which is how the character's done right. I just feel in The Good Doctor, they get the balance right of having a character that's his own person, but also autistic to be able to educate. This is the first thing that I've seen in mainstream media of an autistic person in their young adulthood. So not like with Atypical when he was 18 and he was still in school, high school, wasn't it? Yeah. But when you've actually gone into the adult world and you face all these adult challenges. And what I liked is that, yes, they showed how different Sean was, but it wasn't in a way of, he's a weirdo. There were the odd instances, but they showed his skills, and they showed that autistic people can have skills. And that's what I loved. I really did. And most importantly, what I love about it, Sean's not used as the comic relief. That's often the easy route to go with an autistic character, because an autistic character tends to be a bit quirkier. Of course, in the comments, let me know your thoughts about this, because I'm sure if you're watching this video, you have many thoughts on it. I'd be interested to hear about anyone who specifically doesn't like how the way autism is portrayed in this show. I think it's really interesting to just watch from the autism perspective. Just about made it through World Autism Awareness Week. Got the finale video tomorrow, and then there's a video on Monday too, but I'm so excited for you to see tomorrow's video. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock UK time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.